Hey loves, I'm trying to figure out what y'all doing I figured I would record some of it because I haven't been doing my lives lately. I miss y'all, but I'm trying so hard to catch up on stuff. You know how it goes. So we're doing a proofing session for design here for graduation, and I'm going to take one of the existing templates. This one is already, I believe it is, if you look up the tiger design, it is on Innate Lab. So we're going to go ahead and start with this one, see what we come up with. Alright, I've already removed the background from my photos with Remove BG, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop them in and see what I can come up with. Alright, first and foremost, I know that Granddad is going to be in the background like he is watching over her. So I'm going to make him big, and as a matter of fact, this template doesn't have my guides. The new templates I came up with has the guides that kind of tell you exactly where not to go. So this one is just these blue line guides to not go outside of this area. So I need to update this template. And for those of you trying to get in touch with me, I am sifting through all of these emails. I promise that I am getting through these things just as quickly as I can. And I greatly appreciate your support. I definitely wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for you. Alright, so you know me and how I feel about like colors and going with the theme, so I may make this part, but I guess we'll have a little red balance because she's wearing red and he's wearing red. And what I'm going to do right now is just bring the opacity down just a little bit so I can kind of see what's going to block out. There we go. And our beautiful subject here. Let me go ahead and position this one. I need to find which one we're going to use in the front. So this one has the theme colors from the school. So I think that'll be good up front. And then we'll layer this photo, the red photo, to where it should kind of hang over this watermark here. And for the watermark, I'm going to add a layer mask, grab my paintbrush, and kind of fade that out just a little bit, just so that we aren't staring at that watermark there. And let's see what else we have to bring in. We have a baby photo, which is cute. Little color correction we need to do here because the photo looks kind of purple, but it just depends. We might do it in black and white, so I'm not going to color correct it yet until I figure out where my placement and everything is going. Definitely make that one smaller, and we'll bring that to the background of all the images. And then of course I need to clean up this tassel because Remove BG did not do a clean job of that, and it's probably because it's major highlight here. I'm going to take my pen tool. I'm going to kind of trace out this tassel, and I can tell that that glare is going to make it look like it's missing part of the tassel, but at least we can clean this up first. And even around that ear there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn that into a selection. Probably feather it 2 pixels, and because the image is already removed from the background, I can't delete the pixels. So let's go ahead and do, if we do a new layer mask, it'll only keep what's inside of here. So I have to do a special one. I'm going to do a layer mask, and I'm going to do hide selection, and it will hide the pixels that I had selected there. And then I'm going to, on top of this, do a new layer, and this is going to bug me, so I'm going to go ahead and fix it now. I'm going to grab some of this darker color here and paint. Let me grab the paintbrush. It happened to be on the pencil for some reason. And I'm going to paint over this, but I'm going to clip it to this PNG. So I'm going to create a clipping mask. So it clips down, and then I'm going to choose for the blend mode, I'm going to choose color. No, let's do darken, multiply. Let's do multiply, and then I'll bring the opacity down a little bit. That way it just colored that part of the image a little bit. And I could do the same here, but I think this is going to be faded off pretty decent, so we should be okay. I just wanted you to be able to tell it was a tassel right there. Turn it off, turn it back on. Yeah, they were to leave it on. Sorry, kids are staying up extra late tonight because it's a holiday. They actually are about beating me. They have more energy than me right now. Alright, let's see. What else do we need to do before I play with anything else on color? Let's do, bring the size down. Oh, I need to link these two. Matter of fact, I can go ahead and rasterize this image. Rasterize that layer. Then I'm going to apply the layer mask. So I'm going to click on the layer mask, apply layer mask, and then I'm going to merge this down, that color that I placed. So then that way I don't have all these different layers just for that one image. Alright, so we have that one. Of course, we're going to fade off the bottom of the image because we don't want the hard lines, just in case we do see that. So I did add a layer mask, and I come in with the soft round brush for the black, and it gives us a nice little fade off effect there. Again, I'm going to take those words off there. Alright, let's see. I think we have one more photo to include. We'll put this one in the back as well. And what I'll do for this one, I'll kind of make it look like she's next to Grandpa. Let's see how she likes that. And let's bring that the size just a little bit. I'm looking at, usually when I'm judging the size of photos to kind of put together, I'm looking at the size of the head, because I don't want one person's head way bigger than another's, because then it looks unbelievable. And yeah, this purple photo is throwing me off, and I think we're going to keep the color. I think, let me see here. I'm going to try something real quick. Let's group these photos. Let's do a layer, new adjustment layer, and black and white. I'm going to right click and create a clipping mask, so it only goes on here. And then as far as this layer, trying to see if I want to color it. I think I like the color. The red kind of balances there for me. So I'm going to delete this black and white layer because I like the color. So I'm just going to have to fix the color in this photo. Let's right click, select the image. Let's do a layer, new adjustment layer. We're going to do hue saturation. And we're going to make sure that we clip this only to this photo layer. Let's do, instead of master, I'm going to use my color picker here to help me gauge what color this is, whether it's magenta. Yep, it says magentas. So let's go ahead and turn it all the way down and see if we have some more to pick up. Now, I'm not really too picky about that tassel as much as I am about the skin tone here. So I'm going to add, because obviously I didn't select all of the color there. So I'm adding with the eyedropper with the addition tool here. And pretty much that's everything. All of that. I'll happen to have magentas and a little bit of cyan as well. Well, a lot of bit of cyan as well. So let's see. I'm bringing the saturation back up, and then I'm going to change the hue. So I'm looking for a warmer tone, a little more red versus magenta. And then I can add a layer mask if I need to. So I want the skin to look a little more brown tone than it is right now. It like literally looks purple. And let me just change one layer. Let me change my cyan separate from my magenta. So I have magenta, turn it all the way down. I think that is cyan. Nope, it's not cyan. So I'm gonna leave this one alone and see if it is blue. Blues, let's change the blues. Yep, those are blues. So those blues are what's really throwing us off. Let me turn the saturation all the way down for blues, grab our magentas, bring our saturation back up for magenta. Let's change our hue. And then let's grab the blues, bring the saturation back up, and let's change that hue. And we're getting like a little bit of a sepia effect right now, but I would rather have that than what we had before, which is a purple face. So I'm bringing the lightness down so we get a little more contrast here. Like I said, I'm not really concerned with the tassel. I can always edit that out later. I'm really focusing on the skin tones now. And I'm just making that a little deeper there, and then what we can do is layer, new adjustment layer. Let's see if I need to do levels. Then I can play with the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights, just to kind of bring that picture back to looking realistic. And if we want to see what it looks like, we can turn off our levels, turn off our color correction, and I think that looks a lot better. And then what we can do for the color correction is it already has a layer mask on it. Let's go ahead and use the brush tool here, and let's paint away. So I'm going to use black to reveal right here. And honestly, I think that this one, if we just made it black and white, it would probably be just fine. So I'm going to do new layer. I will still clip it to this image, and I'm going to paint the color black. But I'm going to tell it instead of normal, well, I'll make it normal first just so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to make the brush a little bit smaller so I don't have too much to clean up here. And I really should be probably doing a little bit harder brush, taking my time with this, but I'm already probably doing a little too much on that part. It's just my OCD. And let's do hue for that one. You can do hue or color, it's the same thing there. So we'll just grade that out for me. And I'm going to go ahead and collect all of those, group them. Looks good, looks much, much better. Now if I wanted to, I would paint a little bit more of a warmer tone on there, but I think I'd be getting myself into a little trouble as far as spending too much time on it. But I think so far, composition's coming together. I'm thinking that the graduation photo, we place it there just to give a little balance. Then the background picture, she's wearing white and white. Then I can take this one and drag it below. As a matter of fact, I think I've got this how I want it. I'm going to go ahead and just merge that group. We call that one Baby Grad. And Baby Grad will go below the white there. Let's see what we're working with so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I am missing 5. There we go. And let's see what text we need to put on here. Let's see. So we need THS class of 2020. So what I'm going to do, where Tiger is, and right click, select where Tiger is, double click on that T, and we'll put THS. And of course I need this capital, so space, caps lock, THS, and another space. And I'm holding down shift while I stretch this out. So I can stretch it disproportionately. So let me move this over a little bit. And I have a white shape in the background just so that you don't see through the text. And class of 2020. So instead of nation, and I don't know if I have this font on here, so if I don't, now this is, I think, a paid font. Let me see. BAE Watch font. If that one does happen to be a paid font, which usually I don't do that, let's go ahead and pick an alternative font here. And we're going to be putting class of 2020. And normally if I put a font, it's either going to be a free font or a font that I developed and make available for you all for an affordable price on innatelab.com. Just turn that caps lock off. And I've sat there and put nation anyway. I'm supposed to be spelling class of 2020. And one thing that I like to do is copy and paste. But in this case, it's in all caps, and I don't like to copy and paste all caps. So that is my exception to typing. Otherwise, I try to copy and paste exactly what I'm saying. Class of 2020. That may or may not be the font that we stick with. We'll see in just a minute. And I think I want it to stand out just a little bit more. So I'm either going to faux bold it, which let me go ahead and lock that size in by pressing enter. Faux bold doesn't do what I want it to do. So let's add a stroke to the outside. And I'm just going to choose a darker color and make sure the opacity is turned up. Bring the size down a little bit. That way it makes it look just a little bit hardier. There we go. Class of 2020. Let's see what else. We'll put class of 2020 on the sleeve. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in the template, the free template that's online, because I want to make sure, and I would want you to do this too, that everything's going to fit where you need it to. So let me go to my templates, the free template folder. And let me see if I corrected this, because I think I missed and deleted one of the layers at one point in time, so I'm checking the file now to make sure it's correct. And then I can show you how to, you're really supposed to build onto the template, but you can always pull the elements too. So there's a layer that hides, that you keep on for printing, and then there's a layer that gives you the dimensions, or I'm sorry, the outlines and guides. So the dimensions of this should be a 36 by 44. We're going to go ahead and drag it into our existing, and then we have to unlock them because I have them locked so you can't move them around on the template. So as you can see, it's a little bit different sizing here. So I'm going to make sure I do my image canvas size, and we're going to do width is 44 and height is 36. Oh, this is my image size. Let me cancel that. I want to do my canvas size. My apologies. So I'm going to do 44 for the width and 36 for the height. Keep everything centered and say OK. We'll see a little bit more of our background open up. Perfect. And these two layers should fit exactly in place. There we go. And now I can get rid of, what is it? And put these at the very top, and then I lock them. Once I get them in place, I lock them. And the way you can do that is by clicking on the lock here, and then you won't be able to edit it or move it. Now what I want to get is whatever that is, and that one is locked as well. I'm going to unlock it so that I can delete it. And now you see what everything looks like. Let's go ahead and turn these layers back on. Alright, so now I'm just making sure that now that I have a bigger canvas space, that everything is covered. As we see, there are some parts of the sleeve that isn't covered because this template will go up to a 3x. So everything that didn't quite make it. I'm just stretching out to make sure that we're going to make it to the very edges. Even though this is a bleed area, I still want to make sure that I'm safe and I don't cut anything off. And you see my text and photo save area, I'm way below this area with my very important text, which if I had a small or medium shirt, I most likely would be cutting that off. So what we're going to do is grab all of the inside stuff, meaning the photo and even the text. All the photos and text, we'll do Control T so we can transform it, and we're just going to bring it down in size to make sure that everything is in this text safe area. And that makes me feel much better about preserving our image. And some of you may want to redesign for different sizes. My option that I go for is to design for the smallest of the adult sizes and let that be one design, and then I have additional elements that'll fade off of the edges for the larger sizes. I am trying to find, yep, the little tiger size, because I think I'm going to leave those on there. I'm just going to bring them in so that I can make sure that on a smaller shirt we'll still get that. And even if you went all the way out to a 3X, all this is bleed area. So you just want to make sure you have something there, but most likely you won't need exact design there. I'm going to delete this one and duplicate the one I just edited because it's a little bit more of what I want to see here. Okay. And then we can take these two now that we have a longer design. We can Control T, take those, and I'm just going to stretch them holding down the Shift key to make sure that I can stretch it disproportionately. And I see my tiger eyes there. I'm good with that. And I think Granddad needs to be in the background. It looks like they're more like side by side here. When I have them in front, but I think the way it's described is that he should look like he's kind of looking over her. And I'm going to do duplicate a layer. And let's go ahead and rasterize this layer. And I can go ahead and rasterize all the photos right now because I don't need them to be smart objects anymore. And it just makes it a little bit simpler to edit these. And apply that layer mask. And for this one, I'm going to do a color overlay. I'm going to do probably white. Just so that if I take the opacity down here, I have something kind of blocking out the image from the background because it's a little busy. And then I'll take down the opacity of this one too. I'm just trying to get my idea of how I'm going to represent Granddad more as kind of like an effect versus the main photo image. And let me go ahead and link these two so that they move together. And that way I can even make Granddad large. And this should basically be left chest, which is the heart area, so that might work out really well. Now we can take her photo and kind of balance her photos a little bit better. Give it a little more focal point to the foreground images. Control T, let's go ahead and transform that. I mistakenly held down Shift, but if I don't hold it down, if I see here that my link is there, that means that it's gonna change the size proportionately. And I'm trying to make it look like she's kind of sitting on this as well. Maybe we'll bring the class of above the photos. I'm trying to see here if I want to go with the black or color, or we can also bring down the opacity of the black so that it kind of darkens it, but it's not completely black there. And more than likely this is going to be a smaller shirt, so I'm looking at the small medium area, and that's what I'm really focusing on, what I'm missing. Let's take Granddad and let's put him in the center. And because yeah, that's better, much better. I'll bring the size down just a little bit and make sure we don't run too close to cutting anything off. And I think for Granddad suit, now that it's a little more watermark, let's see how the grayscale would look. Let's do black and white. I'm going to go ahead and group all of these, and let's see how we can kind of play with some of the layer effects. And this is actually the blend mode. So I brought the opacity back up to 100, and I have the black and white on. I'm going to see how the blend modes work for just the black and white without changing the opacity. Well, I'm not getting really what I want out of that, so I'm going to take it back to normal, and I'm just going to bring the opacity down a little bit. And then if you want to change the levels to make it look a little bit, you can also do brightness and contrast, but I almost always do levels if I have a choice, because brightness and contrast is just usually a little bit of a more primitive version of the levels. You have a lot more control here. Now I want to make it look a little more washed out, but still give it enough opacity to where I don't see too much of the texture behind them. There we go. Okay, so let's see. Anything else? Oh, we need to put class of 2020 on the sleeve. So for that, I'm going to take this existing class of 2020. I'm probably not going to do the same font. I'm just going to right click. Well, I need to be on my move tool. Right click, find my word class of 2020, Alt, click and drag. And I'm just trying to find a clean, simple font. What I'll do is I'll do class in the script, or class of in the script, and then we'll do the 2020 in the bold. Alright, this one is going to be, no, it's not going to be class of, it's going to be CO. So we'll do it all with the, this is a serif font because it has little feet on it. So we're going to do C, and it has capital C/O. And then once we get it in place, we can decide what color we want it to be. I'm going to squish it in a little bit. I'm holding down the shift so I can squish it disproportionately. And I think it's going to be going along the hem of the sleeve, which is really hard to guarantee that. So the most you can do is just try to stay within your guides, even for the smallest shirt. And now this is an area that when you're doing bigger shirts, it does matter how close you are to the sleeve of the shirt, because as you can see on a larger shirt, this would come up way higher on the sleeve than a smaller shirt. But we should be good here. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. Better safe than sorry, because once you have this big old thing printed out and ready to press, you don't have a lot of playroom. So if I'm going to put it on both sleeves, I'm just going to Alt, click and drag this one. And I think I like it with this color because it stands out against the purple. And I'm just going to rotate it here. And I'm doing my best to kind of stay with the edge of the sleeve, stay parallel with that. However, it's not necessarily going to be a guarantee when you are pressing your shirt, because it depends on the type of shirt that you use and whether it fits on this template the same way. A little minor adjustment here, and we hit enter, lock that in, and let's see. Now I'll go ahead and take off my guides. This is how it would print. I'm going to do a fill layer and do a solid color. And let's choose that purple. For the blend mode, let's see if I want him to be a color. The soft light overlay does well. I think maybe that's what I'm looking for. Light color. Either color or overlay. If I do overlay, then I'm probably going to give a little more opacity back to the image. And lighten up the image just a little bit. There we go. And bring those mid-tones closer to the black so I can get a little more highlight in there. And that looks good to me. It almost looks exactly like color did, but I get a little bit of the deeper black tones. Alright, so now this looks a little bit weird without the guides on here. So even on the larger shirts, these should still be on the sleeves. Let's see here if we have any feedback. Go ahead and do a quick screenshot, and what I can do is view. I'm going to go to show, and I'm going to turn off my guides so that temporarily I don't have those in the way, and then I'll just do a quick little snippet here. And that way I can copy and paste that in my text messenger and see if that's ready to go. And I think let's see here, I need to take this image here and fade off the bottom of this image while I'm waiting, because I can see that cutoff right there. So I want to do a new layer mask on that one. Grab my paintbrush. I need a bigger brush, so I'm going to Control Alt, right click, or right click and drag, and just come in with my black, and black conceals, white reveals. I think we're good. Let's see. I'm gonna do bring up this hue saturation a little bit. Then make sure that I right click, create a clipping mask. I was just bringing a little bit of warmth, a little bit more color, actually a little more saturation into the baby image. And I'm trying to kind of match the skin tones here, even though it doesn't have to be exact. It just would probably make me a little happier. There we go. And I'll go ahead and merge that down. And I think I need to make this class of 2020 stand out a little bit more. I'm going to do it already has a drop shadow, so I'm just going to bring the opacity of that drop shadow up, increase the distance, the spread, and the size till I see it a little bit better. And then that way it kind of pops off of that a little bit better to me. And I think the back is just supposed to be the pattern. I'm asking if they want like class of 20 jersey style or background plain. And I will demonstrate that in just a second. So let me go ahead and take everything here except for the background. I'll group it. Something else I grabbed in there. Some of my color overlays. this one. So that's all of my background. I'm going to label that. And then this will be all my foreground. So I'm going to call this the front of the shirt. And then I will duplicate it, right click, duplicate that group, and make that the back. And then I'll take, matter of fact, we'll try something here. Let's take the back, we'll keep the photos. Normally I take the photos off, but I think we're gonna try jersey style here. So now I'm gonna take a class of, bring it up top. Let's make that larger. Let's go ahead and put these guys back on so I'm not just arbitrarily making up my center point. So class of, and then we'll take the THS. Take that off. Oh, that's the cup. I'm like, where was this pink image coming from? It's the cup that's in her hand. So let's go ahead and, well, it should matter because it just depends on the words that we put here. So I'm going to, well, we'll copy the layer style from this class of, and let's just type a 20. And I'm going to use my serif font, Control T to make it much bigger. As a matter of fact, let's use the font Impact so that we can clip the photos inside. I am. And I want this to be a little bit thicker, so I'm going to go add a stroke. Pick that same color, which really doesn't matter because all of this could just be black. Matter of fact, let's make it black. It'd be simpler. And it is a color, so overprint, opacity is at 100%, and we'll make sure, well, we could have just done a color overlay instead of changing the color of the text. Color overlay, let's choose black as well. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a smart object so that when I clip my image to it, that outline that I did is now part of the shape. And I'm going to paste the layer style here and turn off the color overlay and the gradient overlay. And we can kind of increase stroke there. And now we have something that we can clip the images inside of. So Control T lets me transform this. I'm going to hold down Shift so I can stretch it and make it as big as I want to make it. And now I can take our photos, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go ahead and make Grandpa a smart object. That way I just see one layer for him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to bring it above the 20. Right click and create a clipping mask where they're all clipped inside. And we'll just play with the placement a little bit. And then this is where you have to be really careful about how the numbers cut off certain things. I think we can make this work. There we go, just a little rearranging there. And let's see. A background is still the same here, so it'll still kind of go with the front. And then we may want to take the class of 2020 off for the back of the sleeves. That way it's not redundant. So I will take them off for the purpose of proofing. As a matter of fact, I can just delete them. Unless it, like, if they wanted to put, long live granddad or something like that, or hashtag or anything, you can do something different. But I just wouldn't suggest putting the same exact thing on the sleeves front and back. So as our back design, I'm going to turn off the guides there, and this 20 is a little something missing. I need it to pop off of the back a little bit more, so I'm going to do, for this drop shadow, again, I'm going to increase my distance, spread in size until it kind of stands out a little bit to me. And then I might add a little bevel and emboss to make the interior of the numbers stick out. And then class of, place that above, increase that drop shadow just a little bit more as well. And she's probably going to have her hair down, so you want to be aware of that too. And we could make all of the image look like how Granddad's is, where it's all monotone. Then that way it flows a little bit better as far as color goes. But I think this still looks really good with the full color. And let's go ahead, let's proof it. And then this one should be ready to go. And it's clear what's the back, front, and background. I think we're good. Go ahead and make sure I save, Control S. I can close out of this template. Save changes. I don't think I changed anything. Oh, I remember. No, I didn't take the lock off. I didn't change that. Another thing we can do for the back, instead of the black, we could actually change the drop shadow to white. Yeah, I don't like it. Nope. Now, one thing I would typically do if I wanted to put white, I would put it as a stroke and then still do my black, but I think honestly it stands out better with the contrast of the black. Well, it doesn't stand out better, I think it just flows better. Let's do a white color overlay instead of black. Actually, we can do a color overlay too. Let's group this. Do an effect and color overlay there. We're going to change it to white and see the difference there. So I'm updating the smart object. Yeah, I think that's what we needed to make it stand out a little bit more. And I'm going to change the color overlay so it's not just a clear, stark white. Let's bring it down just a little bit. There we go. And let me reproof that because it does look a little bit different. See the numbers with the black background versus the number with the white background? So we're going to do a new snippet. And that's it. So I have some more stuff to catch up on tomorrow. More artwork. So I'll be back. See if you have any questions or anything. Oh my gosh, I'm just not seeing all these these chats come through. What are y'all doing up? Let's see. The t-shirt guide, you can go to innatelab.com and type in the word free. So for the free 99, I definitely have a few things on the website. I like to kind of keep content to where you all are coming back. So I do frequently, well, I won't say frequently, every now and then I have free files that I upload. I did one for Mother's Day, probably do one for Father's Day. But these are all free files. We did one for Corona, and this file has layer masks in it. It has effects to the text. So just some different things that even if you don't need it for that purpose, you use it as a template to understand how to work templates. But for your question, here is the adult small to 3X. I also have the infant onesies, toddler t-shirts, and the youth t-shirts, as well as the foldable 2-layer mask. So all of those are free templates, and this is a free file as well. Y'all talking about y'all came in late? No, I am late. Like, it is late. How about that? I'm trying to talk all extra soft so I actually can calm down, because if I get too excited, I'll be up all night. Oh, thank you, Butterman. I'm glad you like the tutorials. So, Mo Kirkland, you know where to go to get the free template. Good deal. Thank you, Butterman. I appreciate you telling where to get the template. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay, Mo, you do tutorials as well, so I have to check you out. Yeah, I have a lot of times when I have people that subscribe to me, I'll subscribe back if they have content on their channel. So definitely make sure you subscribe so I can see it and subscribe back. Now the Facebook group is Innate Creatives, INNATE, next word creatives, CREATIVES, and eventually we're going to do some, well, not eventually, in the very near future, we're going to start doing some classes too where we work through templates, work through creating from scratch. We do some keep it simple sublimators, so I have those templates I am developing because I noticed that we have different levels of Photoshop, not, I won't say skill because we're all skilled enough to where if we want to do it, we'll do it, but confidence and comfortability. So I have some simpler templates. As a matter of fact, I'll show you this one. So this is an airbrush one. It looks really complicated, but it's very simple. So the Keep It Simple Sublimator, the KISS templates, we're going to have these available where it has the 4 elements. You got a foreground, background, your text, and your accent. And in this case, we have text. The background is just this little flare in the back. And then the accent, so you have the scrolls in the background, and you have accent flare on the top. That's it. Little text, take the text out. Background, take the background out. And it's a simple design. And then I also did a KISS today for graduation. So it's a single photo, multi-photo, how to drop it in there into those numbers and just go. And of course, this can be silver, gold, or whatever color you want to overlay on top of the text. And I'm going to start doing a lot more of these because, and they will be at a different price too. So I think I'm going to automatically make them maybe like 15 instead of 20, just so that you'll be encouraged to grab something, play with it, get familiar, get confident with Photoshop, and then move up to the more complicated templates. Okay, do y'all have any questions or anything that y'all want to see? I know I'm always booked to the max. However, I do listen to you all whenever I'm developing the next idea and working on these projects. Like these are actually templates that are developed from paid graphic design. So once I know there's a project and I don't have a template for it, then I can create a template. If it is, you know, basically a paid gig, then I know I can use this template over and over again. So that's how I kind of create artwork that we all can use based on ideas that you have. So you all help to fuel the machine as well. Airbrush one, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'll show you real quick. I was going to do an alternate version of this, which I still will do because I'm going to put it in the Innate Creatives group. And what I'll do is when I post it, I usually ask you all to submit photos that you want to see. And then you get a chance to get the template for free by submitting your photo. So let's do it. I'm going to take this one from, I'm going to go ahead and group it all. So we'll call this one Sweet 16. And then let's duplicate it. And just real quick, just something I know that I have on hand that I'm working on. Make it fun. So let's go ahead instead of 16, and it doesn't have to be a birthday shirt. I just want to show you how you can switch these up. So let's say let's take our text, and the 1 and the 6 I did separately because I want them to be able to overlap. So I'm going to change the 1 to a 2, and then 6 to 1, and this is a free font for personal use, I believe, and if you want to purchase it, definitely support the designer of this font. So I'm going to do 21, and instead of sweet, we're going to do savage. And I'll probably do this again. I'm just going through this quickly because I'm going to do this as a template edit later. So let's do savage. And instead of tiny, let's do what should we put up top? It doesn't have to be a name. I'm trying to show you all how you can do different things. Let's go with what we've been seeing lately. Let me make sure I spell all this stuff right. I have to copy and paste to make sure. I don't play by the spelling, even when I'm spelling stuff that spell check might not be able to catch. And then let's capitalize bougie and ratchet. Control T, bring that size down. And I'm going to squish this in a little bit because this is longer text than you would typically put up top if you were putting a name. And then you'll also see that you don't have to keep this at the top. You can put it at the bottom. So I'm going to play with it as is. I'll let y'all give me your design input. And this one, because it was a short name, I rotated it a little bit. So let me rotate it back. And let's bring in image of our fun and beautiful Megan Thee Stallion. Where are you, Meg? Where are you, hot girl, Meg? Here we go. So I'm just going to drag this image in. So it quickly went away from the Sweet 16 thing, obviously. I'm going to bring this image down, and then I'm going to go ahead and use a layer mask. Grab my paintbrush here, my black selected, and I'm just fading this off. So now we can see how we can use a photo, or you don't have to use a photo. You could also take this photo out of this layer and place it above the text, and then it won't have the, or I'm sorry, above the group, and it won't have that flare and everything on it. So that is totally up to you, and I'll show you real quick how you might change the colors there. Let's go to, right now I have a gradient set up. It's more like a rainbow gradient. We'll go double click on the word savage, go to our gradient overlay. I'm going to create a new gradient. As a matter of fact, we shall, let's cancel real quick. I'm going to bring in a copy of the sneakers that I'm going to match. And I'll do this again in the official tutorial for this. But y'all asked for it, so I figured while I'm up, I give you a little something to work with and keep you up at night. All right, so I'm going to drag this one to the bottom, nope, to the top real quick. We're just using it as a reference. And really, I don't even need all of this. I'm just going to grab these colors as a color reference. And you can't ever be sure when you have photos of things like sneakers that you're actually doing the right colors. You just kind of have to go with the flow. There's almost no way you can color manage something that you didn't control the image of in the first place. And most times people are going to be happy with it as long as it visually goes with the theme. So let's do the word savage. We're going to double click on the FX, go to our gradient overlay, and I think we're only going to really need 2 colors. So I'm going to delete some of these color stops because we're going to make a new gradient. In this yellow, I'm going to choose the yellow from her shirt, which is more like an orangish yellow, and then towards the end here, I'm going to choose this more pastel yellow. So I'm going to click on the color swatch and grab that more pastel yellow. And I'm going to bring it more towards a real yellow versus that kind of greenish color. And that's just for my sanity, because it looks a little muddy otherwise. And then for the other color, I'm going to grab this kind of infrared type color. I don't know if this is infrared. I would have to check the name of the shoe because you all send me pictures of shoes that y'all want to reference. So that's always helpful to me. And I'm just clicking and dragging around until I find the color that I want. It's red, but it's a little bit corally. And I think it's not quite as vibrant as a color that I want. And you have to be careful too, because sublimation has limited color gamut, so you're not going to get exactly the colors on your screen. I have a colorimeter. That is a device. It's usually somewhere around about $500 or so. I bought it years ago when I was color matching sneakers. But it can calibrate the color on your monitor, which is first. Then you calibrate the ink and the printer settings, so the paper that you're using, the ink that you're using, that's calibrated. And then you calibrate the substrates that you're working on. So you calibrate all of those things, the monitor, the ink and paper settings, and the substrates. And once you have those, you kind of create your own custom ICC profiles, and you can get a lot more exact, or you can use RIP software, that sort of thing. However, my goal with what I use and recommend is to pretty much give you all a product that either does not require an ICC profile, or if I have to develop an ICC profile, I can guarantee that it basically works with my system and show you exactly how to save it on yours. So you'll be on the lookout for that. Within the next week, I'm doing an update on the ink formula, so that I'm hoping to get a really good black, which I know a lot of you, when you print in black and white, the sublimation ink tends to have like a reddish black. So I'm working with the developer of that ink now so that they can give me a more true black. So that's why I haven't been advertising the ink lately. I want a true black. And if I can't get a true black, then it's not like you can't tell that it's not true black. Only when you're printing in black and white, it has a little bit of a red tint. So I want to get as far away from that as possible. All right, so I think I'm happy with this color combination here. And I'm going to go ahead and hide my shoe now. And I'm going to go to the Savage. I'm going to copy this layer style. And I'm going to paste it on the 2 and the 1. So the 1 I had already selected, paste layer style. Now, here's the thing. You know what? I don't want to paste the layer style because the word savage is a different scale from the letters, the numbers of 21. So what I want to do is we go to savage. I'm going to save this gradient that I just created. So go back to my effects, gradient overlay. When I click on the gradient, I'm going to hit new here. And that's perfect. Now when I go to my 21, I don't change all of the other aspects like the glow and the shadow. I'm only going to change the gradient overlay. And I'm going to come to my save swatches here and update 1 and 2. And you can even reverse this if you want it. So let's say the top is going from red to yellow. If you want the opposite direction, you can do from yellow to red here. Now I can copy this layer style and paste it on my two because they're the same scale. Bam. Let's see. What else do we need to change? We have this background glow. And the background glow, same thing as a gradient. It's that rainbow gradient right now. If we come down, we can select the red to the yellow and say okay. And then this whole Sweet 16, oh, this says copied. I was like, no. So we do Sweet 16 and Savage 21. All right, so for Savage 21, we have to go to this group right here. And it has a glow on it. So we're going to double click on this outer glow. And lo and behold, it has two colors here. I'm just going to change the color stop number 1 to be, let's pick the yellow, and then the color stop number 2 is this reddish color. I'm cheating because I really should have saved. You know what I could do? You can put that in and then just reverse them and add the white. So I'm going to bring this color here, this color here. And the reason why I had white is because I wanted the color from the background to show through. And if I want a little more of this one, I'm going to click to make a duplicate of that red just so that gives me a little more red. And if you want to, you can hit new and save that one. So now you have the white to the gradient color saved, and the flare, so you have some flares here. One of them is white, so if you see the white flares, and then the other flares are colored, so they're like this pinkish color. Just hit color overlay and change those flares out. So I'm going to change them to red color. It's a little subtle, you see them a little bit. And then the other thing we have to do is the accent scrolls in the back. You can double click on the effects there and do color overlay. And then I'm going to copy this hex code here because this color I'm also going to use for the outer glow color. It just makes it look more like airbrush when you don't have clean clean edges, like it's a little faded off. And for the drop shadow, let's see if we add this yellow, because normally we're going lighter to the darker, so I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. There we go. And then if you didn't want the name to be here, you can move it wherever you wanted. And I'm going to see what it looks like below. And I can bring this image. There we go. So now it's part of our little glow theme that we have going on here. And I will have to, because you know how I feel about stuff hanging off the page and getting clipped off, make her a little bit smaller. And there we go. We have a totally different design. And I don't like the black, touching the black is kind of bothering me there. So I'm going to double click, turn this arch off or the arc off. And you have the option, you can turn the glow from the inside on or off, and you can also play with the opacity of it to have some softer glow. Alright, let's see. Y'all have any input, anything you might want to see changed? Now this font is not my font. It is called, see, when y'all catch me live, I'll tell you a font, but otherwise I tell you, you only get the font names if you purchase the template. Even if you don't have the font on your computer, when you purchase a template, it'll tell you the name of it. As soon as it opens, it'll tell you you don't have a certain font. All right, so this one is Painters with a Z on the end. Thank you, Erica. So y'all let me know if y'all want to see any changes, anything done to this. And I just want to remind you all, because we're getting, you know, good following, people that really are supporting. But those of you that purchase, there's a disclaimer, anything that you download on the website, you cannot sell the artwork, you cannot share the artwork, and you cannot sell transfers. Now, I encourage you to use it on your products. As a matter of fact, that is what this is for, to help you all sell products. But if it directly conflicts with what I'm doing, if you are taking something that I did and selling it just the way that I'm selling it. So just want to give you all that reminder. Usually the folks that are on my lives, I don't have to, it's like preaching to the choir. But all right, loves. So I did a little extra bonus for you all, and I'll have this saved on this template. So we'll have 2 different versions. And then it's also lets you know not every design has to have a photo in it. So, and also what I want to do for this Clash the Bougie Ratchet, because I made the word so much smaller, let me go to edit the effects. So let's do layer, layer style, and I'm going to scale these effects down a little bit, maybe 70%, just a little too much, 80%, because when I changed the scale of the text, then the effects got a little too harsh for me. There we go. So it still looks like it's glowing, but it has a little more purpose to it to me now. All right, no changes needed. It's like one of my favorite favorite things to see in here. And these accent elements, if you needed to, you can open it up and grab those and move those around. You just want to make sure that when you hit Control T, you're nowhere near the edge of this page, because you'll see a nice soft glow on the screen. But if you're too close to those edges, when you print it out, it will clip your stuff off so fast and you'll see a hard line for no reason. Same thing here. Let me grab this group. I'm just going to hit Control T on the whole group, and see how I don't see anything over here, but obviously, like, it's probably this little flare right here that's very close to the edge, and it's very, very close to this edge over here. So I could either move my flare. So I have my color flare right there. Control T, that's exactly what it was. You see how that flare is so close to the edge there? So I'm just going to squish it in a little bit. That way I don't even take that chance. And now when I grab my whole group again, Control T, I can see that I'm clear away from the edges there. And you still have to be aware of your drop shadows, because your drop shadows and your glows don't count towards your transform space. So see how it extends the transform space? See how that shadow, that yellow shadow, extends past this transform space? So you just have to be aware. All right, loves. So I'm gonna take a break, get some rest, do it all over again tomorrow. And as long as you love what you do, you just keep doing it till where's your eye. And you all let me know if there's anything else that you want to see, any templates that you need to see done. I think right now there are tutorials for every template that's out there right now. I'm pretty sure that. But if not, let me know. If I have a template available and I don't have a video to go with it, let me know. I will make a video for it. All right, loves. I appreciate you all for hanging out with me. I can't believe y'all are still up. So until next time, which may be tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, depending on, well, you know, I have work to catch up on tomorrow. So if anything else, I might do some live proofing. And then I have some more templates, well, that I need to make videos for. If I say that I'm going to make something a template, usually I have to make a video for it first. What's that? You want to know if you can tell them the name of the font? Sure, absolutely. I just don't feel like digging through my files to find the name of the font if it's not already open. But this particular font is, you can type it if you like to. Well, yeah, I guess I can type it. ALLAGIA. Well, that is, I think that's the script font. Yep, so that's the script font. And then the other font, and this one, you can take the drips off by making it all caps. It's called Painters. And as a matter of fact, I can just copy and paste it from here. Painters is that graffiti font. All right, loves, I'm going to have to tell y'all like I tell folks on the phone when I finally get on the phone. Well, I'm going to let you go. But I appreciate you dearly, and I'm sure we'll be in contact sometime tomorrow because I got plenty to do. So I started doing these videos with y'all so you can see what I'm always up to. Right, and let me take the photo of the shoes off. And there's a design 1 and design 2. Make sure we save it. Good night, y'all. Love you for reals. Bye.